So today we're going to go to Robben Island. There's a boating over there called Mandelas 1, so I'm guessing that's the boat we'll be catching. And so this is where the queue starts for Robben Island tour. And we have things to look at and read while we queue up to the boats. So these are people all now queuing up to get on the boat. And this is our place in the queue. Still with things to read as we go. And now we're walking out to our boat. So we're on our boat now, which is absolutely heaving. Rammed full. And we're now leaving the Cape Town harbour. And we've speeded up a bit too. And we're now getting off our busy little boat. So we're now on Robben Island and we're going forward to catch a bus to go around the island. So there's the boat we've just got off. We just walked up here and we're now on board this bus to take us around Robben Island. And so here we go through the gate.
Are we all English speaking or do we all understand English?
Yes.
Yes. Why ask the question? Because yesterday when I was about to conclude the tour, then only half of the bus understood English. I'm going to explain to you the history and the narrative of the whole island. Now this building there is called the Half an Hour Visitor Center. That is where you can visit a prisoner on the island only for half an hour. But you must apply 6 months in advance for your half an hour visit. So when you do get your visit, you're only allowed to speak English or Afrikaans. Those tombstones. The prison there is also built upon graves. Now these are the people that died of leprosy on Robben Island. But you must also remember, many islands all over the world was also used as leper colonies. Now the man that was isolated from the whole world and from South Africans, he goes by the name of Robert Mandelas. Now Robert Sobukwe's name is not well known throughout the world, even in South Africa also. Okay. Now myself, Robert Sobukwe, he was a very intellectual man because he was a professor in linguistics. So he was a very intellectual man. But the government said that he must be kept in total isolation. In the 80s, you speak about F.W. de Klerk. Why de Klerk 80s? Now F.W. de Klerk, he was the last white Afrikaner president. And he was the one president that released all political prisoners unconditionally. When he went to prison for 27 years, Nelson Mandela was the leader of the ANC military wing. He was the commander-in-chief. So Nelson Mandela, when he went to prison a man full of hatred. But after 27 years, when Nelson Mandela came out of prison, he came out of prison a man with forgiveness, a man with reconciliation on his heart. Since 97, that structure there, we use it as a multi-purpose learning center. That's a learning center for all age groups. Are we still together, people? Yes? Thank you. In 1945, this was a naval base. So most from the buildings here come from Second World War. We also got beneath the ground, 18 meters underground, we got tunnels, dungeons, and plotting rooms. Also toilets beneath the ground from Second World War. So Robben Island was well prepared for the Second World War. We had plus minus 3,000 soldiers on the island at the time.
So we've stopped for a little 10-minute break and this is on the coast of Robben Island. There's a little shop over there. And we've just got off bus number 10. It's been really, really interesting so far. And this is how far Robben Island is from Cape Town. This Cape Town's over there in the distance. Over there's the lighthouse on Robben Island, and this is people taking lots of photo opportunities. These are the Irish houses. And the church, 1841. And we're heading back to the maximum security prison.
Now this quarter here was only for the leaders, only for leaders. Because you must remember that leaders was always kept separate from all other political prisoners, because the wardens didn't want the leaders to influence them with more ideas, so leaders always kept separate. They must take the lime out of this quarry, and they must use the lime to surface all the roads on Robben Island. Now after 6 months, and then there was no purpose, and then there was no demand for the lime anymore. But then the warden still kept them here afterwards for another 13 more years. In Cape Town, our CBD, in the summer period, it becomes extremely hot. Temperatures here in summer period easily go more than 40 degrees. Then this quarry here becomes like an oven, because lime absorbs it. And lime also gives off a lot of it also. So you can imagine for yourself, if you haven't got protection for your eyes, then the glare of the lime is going to damage your eyes permanently. Then what happened to the president? They now inhale the lime. The lime now also settled on their lungs. It also affected their lungs very badly. Many from the leaders have died of lung disease. We call that cave our first democratic parliament of South Africa. Because 60% of the constitution was discussed in that cave already by the leaders. Nelson Mandela also said, let us prepare ourselves for freedom by educating ourselves. So if freedom do come, then we are educated. It all started after this quarry. This quarry here is a very powerful area. It's also a very sensitive area. It was in this quarry here that those that was literate, they took it upon themselves to educate those that were illiterate how to read and write. It started here. It spread throughout the prison, each one.
And now we're walking down to do the prison tour.
My name is Medisi. I spent 5 years here, from 1977 to 1982. I ended up here as a result of us getting involved in the students' protests of 1976. It was during my last year in high school in that year. In our case, we were arrested out of a meeting where we were planning yet another students' protest march. We then give you 2 sets of clothes. One set was for winter, the other set was for summer. Of course, that relates to the time when I arrived here, the 70s. When we arrived here, when I say we, I'm referring to my generation. We were not kept together with the business that came in the 60s. Just like you, we're militant as you are now when you consider. But with time, we realize that if we continue with that militance, many of us will die here, will not survive this place. Because at that time, they said in the 60s, the conditions were horrible. Arrived here, they would get 1 set of clothes. And at that time, clothes would be issued out on a racial basis. So that what had become a summer set of clothes during my time, in the 60s would have been given to those that were classified as Bantus. Bantu was a generic term used by the government at that time. We had 2 kinds of privileges here. There were individual privileges and group privileges. For example, sport was a group privilege. If a section, for example, began to misbehave, like when we went on our sites, and it happened to be overlapping the weekend, they would actually take away the sport. It belonged to G, which was the lowest. Over time, you get promoted to C, B, and ultimately A, depending on your conduct. That conduct was assessed every year on the basis of reports that ended up in your file. Letters from outside were also censored, as you can see with this one. In those letters from outside, they would focus on anything that they felt would be politically newsworthy to prisoners. Remember that for many years, prisoners here did not have access to any form of news media, whether print or electronic. Okay, before we go to Mandela, let's go first to section A.
So this is the courtyard at Robben Island.
Going to the cells. Because he was the kind of prison warder who would want to set an example to his warders that I don't take nonsense, you know. So you must also treat these prisoners in the same manner. So when he realized all those warders couldn't get us to the cells, he decided to go to our section and said, look here, into your cells, into your cells. He made a mistake.
These are the single cell prisons, like a solitary confinement, so political prisoners couldn't talk to each other. So we're now walking to Nelson Mandela's cell.
The setup of the cells represents the 70s, the 1970s, at the single cells. They were only allowed to occupy cells as long as they wanted from around 69, 70, 71. That's about the same period when criminals. It would depend which generation you are asking that question to. Because if you're talking about the 60th generation, they will always say that they were good warders in Robben Island. You know, they will say that. But if you ask the younger generation that came after 76, many of them will say there was never a good warder in Robben Island. But to be honest with you, both sides are wrong. They are both wrong. Why I'm saying that is because with the older generation, they were a kind of generation whose approach to human relations was based on the belief that in each and every human being there's a good side, right? And so they would relate to another person irrespective of how hostile that person may be towards them. They would relate towards that person in a manner that projects humanity. So basically getting the same food. But interestingly is that in this prison, when they agreed to change anything that was in the prison's regulations, it did not mean they would change the regulations. They would not change the regulations, but they would change the practice. So the prison that changed, but this was prescribed in the regulations and it was not changed. Each of these cells in the 70s when I was here would take up to 50 people. In the 60s, you're talking 100.
Now the 1960s cell, and just simply a rug to sleep on. And about 100 people in here doing just that. And this is the cell, bathroom block. This is the 1980s, where we now have proper beds. We don't just have things on the floor.
Oh, those ones are sleeping in bunk beds. They look better.
Don't look very comfortable, but better than the floor. And now we're going away from the prison and doing the walk to freedom. Back to our boat.